Can we truly be on page 17? I'm going to apologize for this page right away because I am on. First of all, I didn't videotape myself drawing it because I was. Drawing a page from scratch is tough. Like, I don't have. My process is not to write a script first. I usually try to go in my mind. Sometimes I can write it down, but usually just in my mind. I'll try to establish what's happening in this comic first. And then I'll figure out how to illustrate that story in accordance with my principles of comics, my personal principles, which is that each panel is a story and each page is a story. So let me tell you about page 17. We've switched points of view. Oh, by the way, I finished it. That's something I didn't show you. Hello, everyone. Good morning, Sunday morning. Shout out. um, okay, I finished page 16. If you're following my Instagram or following me on Discord, you've seen this. You can see I got through this one in the last video, but I had this last one. And my original plan was to show him kind of flying over the ground and we would show some of the terrain below. And that was going to be part of this panel. And I started drawing the figures down there and getting into it. And then I thought, well, I also want to show some exhaust coming from the hand, and I have a real affinity for the Silver Age style, and kind of like when Captain Marvel, the Marvel, the Marvel Captain Marvel would fly. The way they would show it is often they would just show these this sort of sparkle trail, and also we want to just and to emphasize the injuries of Gallows. I think we should have him coughing too. That's the other thing. Not all of these lines make sense right now. But I am going to put a calf. He's coughing because he's got a collapsed lung. He's just superhuman. We can technically Gallows doesn't have any quote unquote superpowers. Um, but we think he's going to be okay. Maybe, I don't know. It's looking pretty bleak for him actually. All right. Let me just and he's actually got this hand thing flying. Pretty cool, and pretty soon he should be able to get back to where Rabbit Fighter is. Okay, so Rabbit Fighter, I drew this page. I knew in my mind that the story was going to be that Rabbit Fighter ends up barricaded in one of the buildings surrounded by zombies, and he can't get out. So he hasn't done that well. And I wanted to show a bit of that, and kind of the magic of comics is you're allowed to go back in time a little bit. Once we've switched points of view, we don't have to show the scene from the moment that Gallows starts flying. We can kind of follow along with Rabbit Fighter from the last time we left him. We can go back in time a bit to the last time we left him, which was several pages back. In fact, I believe it was. This is page 17. I believe it was like on page 9. No, wait, it was page 10. Page 10. I gotta spread them out. The zombies are chasing him. He's dropped his poncho. He still has, and he's lost his hat. All right. Good deal. So we found this sort of industrial building like a warehouse building. It's something in the junkyard. I don't know. What kind of buildings do they have in junkyards? I was thinking like maybe like one of those tin corrugated steel warehouses looking things. And the zombies, and I've got them in the extreme foreground and in the foreground, and even in kind of in the midground, I guess we could call this zombie right here. Um, they're stumbling towards Rabbit Fighter, and he says, "At this point, I should have no problem sneaking back to where Gallows is." And it's ruh-roh. So he has to. He can't fight his way through this pack of zombies. So he gets the idea to barricade himself in, and then we show the zombies kind of trying to get through the doorway. This is like classic zombie horror trope here of the zombies trying to get in and trying to break in the door. So that's kind of just what I was going for there. And there they are. All right, man. So then there's that. And Rabbit Fighter is going to be saying something like, get back. I don't know what he's going to say. He's going to say something. It's going to be, I'm trying to think of a good joke because usually he's sort of a laugh in the face of danger kind of character. Embrace the suck, as we used to say in the army. Wait, let's do this right here. There we go. Looking good. So he's trying to push the zombies back out of the door. And then he has some kind of realization. It's either a realization, it just all depends on what I do with his pupil. The realization could be here. Let me show you what it could be. The realization could be here. The realization could be there, looking at the danger of the zombies. He could be breaking the fourth wall and looking at us. And really he's talking to himself when he does that. Or maybe he's thinking of what he could do to escape the situation. He's trying to come up with an idea. Every one of these is a valid option, and I haven't decided which one, because in the next panel, he figures out how to barricade the door with his crowbar, right? And I'm going to write, maybe there'll even be some whoomp, whoomp, right? They're breaking down the door, and Rabbit Fighter himself is just running. He's going to run upstairs. So maybe maybe here he's saying, I think, is that a set of stairs or something like that? Like maybe those stairs over there, and then he figures over there. Now, what's significant about what this panel is, and let's talk about the story on each panel. The story on each panel is, I'm surprised there are still zombies out here, and there's too many for me. The story here is, I'm really struggling to get this thing. Maybe it's really difficult to get this door closed. We want to show the effort involved. The story here is, I've got an idea. That's what we settled on. And remember, we could have done any one of three stories here. The story here is, these guys are stronger than I thought, or what's going to happen if they get more zombies? Will this door hold? This story, where he's looking out at me, is, am I going to make this out of here? Make it out of here alive? And then this story here, when you have the eye over here, is, I've got an idea, right? Hey, are those a set of stairs? Something like that. I got to figure out what the dialogue's going to be. The story here is the zombies are momentarily contained, but not for good. And I went out of my way to make, in this third panel, Rapid Fire's running up the stairs. I made him look a little bit worried. And then once again, we could do the same trick with the eye. By the way, he's only got one eye. This eye's blind. Coming up with a new plan as he's looking forward, worrying about what's going on back there. Worried about himself, right? So, I think I'd like to do this one for right now because he's a little bit determined. If I put a little bit of like that, I can get worry plus determination. Now, grab a fighter shirt. He's got a muscle shirt. That's the way I draw him. Just a sleeveless shirt. And there's definitely some erasing I have to do for even for my these are just roughs, these are breakdowns, these aren't real polished drawings or anything like that, obviously. Um, um, quick shout out to Randy Zimmerman, Luke Stone, and Arrow Comics. Please consider buying Hero Bot Zero #1 and #2. #2 features a little known artist you may have heard of. Spoiler alert, it me. I'm in the lead story, and I even wrote the main story. I even wrote it, although I want to admit right up front that Randy Zim definitely punched up my dialogue. This comic is laugh out loud funny in several places. I'm very proud of it. I will definitely say my amateurism shows. My amateurism shows, and because I did it about 200 pages ago, so I'm about, if you think this is pretty crude, imagine like this level of art, but 200 pages ago. But once again, like I said, I'm determined to continue to to improve. I'm gonna get good. You know what I mean? I am. It's gonna happen eventually. Um, all right, Rabbit Fighter runs up the stairs. Now I have an idea for the next page going. In fact, that's the page I had planned is the next page when he's already up the stairs on the second or higher floor, maybe even on the roof. And he's, the zombies have broken through and he's trapped again. Um, and all looks lost. He's lost his crowbar. This is an important story point. Like, remember when I said every panel has to tell a story? The story is he's surprised. The story is he's in trouble. The story is he's, you know, desperate for an idea. The story is the zombies are barely contained. The story is he's going upstairs and he's lost his crowbar. So that's kind of where I am right now. I think we got to do this. And I got to spend a lot of time cleaning the pencils up and, you know, tightening it up and then getting it ready for ink. And then, of course, who does the ink? Me. I do the ink. Me. Um, how will I do this? I think for the there we go. So Rabbit Fighter is a little bit like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in that I only have to worry about 3 fingers for him. He's very much inspired by the Eastman Laird Turtles. Oh man. I'm not sure I like how I did the nose here, but we'll get to it. We'll fix it. Both him and Gallows are going to be completely torn up and savage by the time, um, you know, by the time we get to the last page of this epic, right here. That was kind of like my original plan with Rabbit Fighter, is that he was always going to be a character that suffers. Because I believe that's kind of, one of the secrets to doing a badass comic is showing the human perseverance, the human quality of perseverance. I know this eye is a little bit low, or very low. Perseverance even in the face of great opposition. So that's definitely part of it. Now I am going to take my roughs here once I get enough of them fleshed out that people can actually see what's going on in the panel. And I'm going to go post these over at the Adventures in Comics Making Discord. By the way, keep checking things out. We will be having a membership drive next year for people who want to make comics and get them published. Um, and different kinds of ways to approach publishing. We're going to do a newspaper, like a newspaper comic. It's going to be a 11 by 14 or possibly 11 by 17 tabloid. Not sure. And that's one thing that's going to happen next year. We're going to do a couple issues of 9 Volt anthology if people are still into them. It's one of those things. It's, if there's interest. The one I'd like to do, we've been talking about different ideas for what the next one should be. We're about to put out Monster. Shout out to Sideburns for doing the cover. Whoops. Um, we're trying to come up with a theme for next year. There's a bunch of themes proposed. All the themes that don't get picked, from the previous one kind of end up on the list. But I'm proposing um, Oz. Like we all do stories based on the land of Oz. And it could be a futurist. You could do like everybody could do like a different one. You could do a futuristic Oz. You could do a storybook Oz. You could do a post-apocalyptic Oz story or whatever else. I just think it would be a fun interpretive sort of jam. And we're definitely thinking about it. Anyways, let me continue to draw here. Am I making him too buff? I want to make him a little bit skinnier. Oh, he looks okay. He looks pretty skinny. Okay. It's important when you're doing a running scene like this. Like if this is your back foot, like I originally had this was the back foot, and then I had the left arm or the right arm also back, and so it's got to be opposite. If this is your back foot, your forward arm should be on the same side. And so if this is your forward foot, this is his forward foot. That means his back arm should be on the same side. And we'll do like a brick pattern in the background here. Whoops. Something like that. I could even put a sign that says to roof access, or third floor to show that he's going to the third floor. There's so many subtle ways you can kind of give off the information in the comic. Anyways, check out Arrow Comics, HeroBot Zero, number 1 and number 2. I'm in issue number 2. You should buy issue number 1. I think it's $5. I think it's $5. And super cool. Super cool and very funny, like very funny. So I don't know. Think about it. It's hilarious. Good times. Good times. But Peter, you're saying you've been published. Doesn't that mean you're a professional? I don't know if I am. It means I'm still learning, and I got to keep it up. Got to keep up the rock, baby. Got to can't stop the rock. What else is going on in my life? I ordered. I got really interested in doing music again. I got interested in doing music last year, and I got kind of shut down due to some unforeseen events. But if you check out Mistron, I've got and some of my recent videos, the last two speed runs I did. If you listen to the music, it's like synth ambient. That's actually me playing those. I'm playing those on Volca Electribes. No, Volcas. This is a Volca drum, and I have a Volca keys, a Volca drum. They're really inexpensive and they're really awesome. And I saw a Volca sampler for $96, and I bought it. So I'm I am excitedly awaiting like for that thing to get delivered, and I can start doing music again. I think that would be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. All right, what do you think? Have I got a rough here? Have I gotten there? Drawing Fighter, page 17. You may look at this and go, What is this wussy choice he made with a profile going up the stairs? He should have done a 3/4, perspective view. Sometimes you don't need to do it. I don't know. I'm gonna go post it and see if I get critiqued. Maybe Man of the Atom will show me how I should have done it a little bit better, because that's one of the benefits, by the way, of being on the comics Discord is you will get some pretty good critique, and it's usually not just critique. Somebody will do a draw over and say, here's another way you could have done it. And by the way, that's the exact thing that happens in the Kubert School classes in narrative art. You get some comic pages and you do them. You turn them in and they get critique. The teacher will go over and say, this is an interesting choice that you made here, but have you considered, moving the point of view here, or doing this in 2-point perspective, or, whatever else. So definitely consider it. Um, like I said, we had some anarchy earlier this year. We had some a certain malactor going on, but there's going to be some exciting stuff happening next year. We are in no way stopping. You may have noticed I've done a video every single day. I am always drawing. So um, keep keep watching. Like, follow, subscribe, and stay tuned for more Rabbit Fighter. Rock on.